Have you ever wondered why so many people don't live to a ripe old age past 80? The answer lies in a combination of four key factors. Reaching 80 is certainly a significant milestone, but maintaining vitality and activity beyond that age requires much more than just luck. It strongly demands a conscious approach and an understanding of the processes occurring within the body. There are four non-obvious, yet extremely powerful forces that relentlessly work against the human body as it ages. Most people prefer not to talk about them until it's too late. Many don't even realize how deeply these invisible issues affect their energy levels, memory sharpness, and overall health until irreversible damage is done. We intend to reveal these four true reasons why the vast majority of people struggle to maintain a long and fulfilling life after 80. These are not just speculative theories. They are backed by decades of meticulous medical research and extensive personal experience. Once you grasp their essence, you'll understand that this isn't about futile attempts to live forever. It's about protecting your inner strength, preserving independence, and maintaining peace of mind for as long as possible. Stay with us until the very end, for the fourth reason might truly surprise you and perhaps be the most crucial of all. So let's begin. Reason 1. Hidden inflammation accelerating body aging. One of the greatest threats to human health after 80 doesn't come from outside, but quietly and imperceptibly originates within the body itself. This phenomenon, often called inflammaging by doctors, is chronic, low-grade inflammation that gradually but steadily damages cells, tissues, and organs without causing obvious symptoms in the initial stages. Over time, it literally wears down the body from within. This type of inflammation is fundamentally different from acute swelling seen after a sprain or cut. It is internal. It accumulates over years due to constant stress, consumption of processed foods, insufficient sleep, lack of physical activity, and even exposure to environmental toxins. While it may not cause pain initially, its influence extends to all body systems: heart, brain, joints, and even the immune system. Consider 82-year-old George. He never smoked, drank alcohol, and walked daily. However, he often felt tired, stiff, and had brain fog, even though his blood tests were normal. Only when he consulted a specialist was he found to have high levels of inflammation markers. No serious disease was found, just quiet inflammation smoldering in his body for years. The body's ability to effectively cope with inflammatory processes weakens with age. Therefore, what could be ignored at 50 or 60, such as consuming processed snacks, prolonged sitting, or poor sleep, begins to manifest much more strongly after 80. Inflammation slowly but surely undermines the body's resilience, significantly increasing the risk of dementia, heart disease, and frailty in old age. And most people don't even suspect it's happening. But there's good news. Some of the most powerful anti-inflammatory remedies are simple and accessible to everyone. Eating whole foods and daily walks. None of this happens instantly, but every step helps reduce inflammation. And with less inflammation, your body has a much better chance of staying strong and functional even after 80. Reason 2. Muscle loss, leading to weakness and falls. After age 60, the human body naturally begins to lose muscle mass annually, and after 80, this process significantly accelerates. This gradual weakening is known medically as sarcopenia. Most people don't notice it immediately. It starts not with major changes, but with minor things. It becomes harder to open jars, slower to get up from a chair, or avoiding stairs because they seem a bit more difficult. The problem is that muscles are not only essential for physical strength. They play a critically important role in maintaining balance, supporting joints, and helping regulate blood sugar levels and metabolism. When muscle mass disappears, the risk of falls, bone fractures, and loss of independence rapidly increases. Take 84-year-old Frank as an example. He was sharp, cheerful, and still lived alone. But one afternoon, he tripped on a rug and broke his hip. He always considered himself steady, but after the fall, he realized how much strength he had lost in recent years, strength he mistakenly thought he still had enough of. What makes muscle loss so dangerous after 80 is its ability to rapidly spread its detrimental influence to all aspects of existence. A single fall can lead to weeks spent in bed, and prolonged bed rest inevitably leads to further exacerbation of muscle atrophy and general weakness. This is followed by the need for walkers, loss of previous mobility, and ultimately a gradual, almost imperceptible fading of a once vibrant and full life, accompanied by a loss of former activity and independence. However, muscle loss is not a fatal and inevitable fate. It can be significantly slowed down, and in some cases, even reversed. Regular walking, accessible to most, provides invaluable help. Including exercises with light dumbbells or resistance bands a few times a week also brings tangible benefits. Providing the body with enough high-quality protein through a balanced diet plays a key role. Regular, gentle stretching exercises aimed at maintaining flexibility and joint mobility are also important. Each of these seemingly minor efforts, when performed consistently and regularly, accumulates, yielding tangible results. The goal is never to become a professional bodybuilder or achieve athletic peaks. It's about maintaining stability, mobility, and enough physical strength to perform daily tasks and continue activities that matter most for quality of life. Whether it's gardening, grocery shopping, or simply safely getting out of bed each morning, the muscular system acts as a silent but reliable protector of the human body. And after 80, it can be the key factor that not only extends years of life, but significantly improves its quality. Reason 3. Poor quality sleep, having a destructive effect on physical condition and cognitive functions. With age, sleep patterns change, and unfortunately, not always for the better. Many older adults experience significant difficulty initiating sleep, maintaining it, or reaching the phase of deep, truly restorative rest. After 80, the negative consequences of poor sleep begin to manifest much more clearly and noticeably in the body, brain, and daily life. Initially, it may appear as seemingly minor manifestations: increased daytime fatigue, more frequent forgetfulness regarding simple things, and increased irritability. However, behind these superficial symptoms lies a much deeper and more serious problem. It is during sleep that the most important process of cellular-level body restoration occurs. The brain actively clears metabolic waste, and the immune system undergoes a necessary reset, strengthening its protective functions. When sleep becomes shallow, fragmented, or interrupted, these vital healing and regeneration processes are disrupted, depriving the body of the ability to fully recover. Consider the example of 86-year-old Alice. She didn't attach much importance to waking up 3 or 4 times a night, considering it a natural feature of her age. But over time, she noticed that her cognitive functions, particularly memory, began to noticeably decline. Her energy levels sharply decreased, and she became much more susceptible to colds. Her doctor explained that sleep is not just passive rest, but a vital process necessary for her brain's optimal functioning and maintaining a strong immune system. Once she worked on improving her sleep habits, her mental clarity and overall stamina gradually recovered. Many people assume they'll just have to live with poor sleep after a certain age, but this statement is not true. There are quite accessible and effective ways to improve the quality of night rest. Strict adherence to a consistent sleep schedule, reasonable limitation of caffeine and alcohol consumption, regular exposure to natural daylight in the morning hours, and creating optimal bedroom conditions, a cool, dark, and quiet atmosphere. Even moderate physical activity during the day can significantly improve the depth and quality of night sleep. After 80, quality sleep becomes no less important than a balanced diet or safe physical activity. It directly affects mental clarity, steadiness of gait, strength of the immune system, and overall energy level needed to fully enjoy the life one has built over decades. The essence is not to increase sleep duration, but to significantly improve its quality. Giving this aspect due priority can be one of the wisest and most far-sighted decisions on the path to maintaining robust health. Reason 4. Loneliness and loss of life purpose. There is an invisible yet insidious danger that affects significantly more people over 80 than we tend to realize. It's not a viral disease or a physical ailment. It's loneliness. And it not only causes deep emotional pain, but also has a tangible physical impact on the body. Numerous studies have convincingly demonstrated that social isolation and loss of daily purpose can reduce life expectancy more than some well-known chronic diseases. As one ages, their social world often inexorably shrinks. Friends and peers pass away. Children move to distant regions. Physical limitations make leaving home increasingly difficult. And so, slowly, against their will, many older adults begin to spend more and more time in isolation. This concerns not only physical presence, but also a deep emotional state. Consider 88-year-old Bill. His wife died 5 years ago. His adult children live in other states. He watches TV, cooks, and keeps his house tidy. But he says some days pass without a single conversation with anyone. And what he misses most is not so much noise or external activity, but a deep sense of being needed, the feeling that someone is waiting for him, that his presence truly matters. Human nature inherently strives for connection and interaction. And after 80, as familiar social roles gradually fade, whether it's retirement, caring for loved ones, or active participation in neighborhood life, many people lose not just opportunities for interaction, but a part of their identity. This subtle yet oppressive feeling of why even get up today can become an unbearable burden. Over time, it detrimentally affects the immune system, disrupts the brain's chemical balance, and suppresses the desire to remain active. However, purpose doesn't have to be grand or massive. It can be watering houseplants, writing short notes to loved ones, making a daily phone call to someone, feeding birds outside the window, or offering a small help to a neighbor. Even the most seemingly insignificant actions can create a meaningful rhythm of life, fill it with purpose, and bring genuine joy. Reaching out to help another person, even if it initially feels awkward or unfamiliar, can often bring light and comfort to both sides. Loneliness should not be confused with solitude. While solitude, a conscious choice for peace and quiet, can be a source of strength and self-discovery, loneliness is a destructive state. When a person feels invisible or unneeded, their body inevitably reacts to this state. Therefore, if you yourself have crossed the 80-year mark, or if there are people in your circle who have reached this venerable age, ask yourself or them a simple yet profound question. What exactly brings you a sense of purpose and meaning right now? And how can you guard and protect this purpose as if it were a vital medicine? Because in many aspects, it truly is. Concluding thoughts. If you've read this far, take a moment for deep reflection, not with fear, but with full clarity and awareness. Life after 80 is undoubtedly a priceless gift, but the harsh truth is that many people don't reach this age in good physical and mental shape. This happens not because they were indifferent to their health, but because they simply weren't aware of the invisible forces quietly but steadily working against them. Chronic inflammation, progressive muscle loss, systematically poor sleep, and deep emotional isolation. All these factors can subtly creep into a person's life, gradually eroding their health. By the time their detrimental effects fully manifest, significant damage has already been done. But knowledge is, without a doubt, power. The purpose of providing this information is not to scare you, but to arm you with the necessary knowledge and understanding. It's to remind you that even small but consistent and continuous lifestyle changes still make a huge difference. The choices you make this week, this month, this year can fundamentally shape how you move, think, and feel in your 80s and beyond. So what impressed you most from everything you've read? Perhaps it was the realization of how inflammation creeps in unnoticed without any warning signs? Or were you struck by the thought of how fragile physical strength becomes without regular movement and activity? Perhaps it was the important reminder that sleep is not just rest, but a complex and vital process, and that deep emotional connection with others is as important as any medical prescription. Whatever it was, Let it not just be another piece of information for you. Let it become a real turning point in your life. Let it be a firm decision to continue caring for your body, developing your mind, and preserving your life's purpose. Aging is not a process of fading or inevitable decline. It is, rather, a process of focusing and concentrating on what matters most. It's a conscious choice of what matters most, protecting that choice, and letting go of everything else that doesn't serve your well-being. You deserve to live this stage of life with wisdom, dignity, and strength. Don't settle for less.